I got
Man,
Jack.
come on. You have to take care of your dad.
Yeah. I know.
All right, I'm good.
So let's hope that we have enough people get alerted on YouTube that we draw an audience tonight, or everybody's used to us.
Okay, I got it.
All right. We should be coming up real soon.
We'll give everybody a few minutes to get on here. Let's see.
Well, we're live right now, but and I got the camera on.
Okay.
But I'm just looking to see if we're popping up.
If you want, I can fall down and do the Chevy Chase of the fall. You know what I mean? From like Saturday Night Live.
You might have to.
It wouldn't be the first. The only problem is I'm tall. If I fall down, it's a long way.
Yeah, it's one thing good about being short.
That's right.
Short people got.
Hey, don't be picking on me and Ed.
Listen, I'm not trying to belittle you.
Oh, sure.
All right. We'll stop with the small talk. We'll get serious.
That's right.
Camera off.
Sounds good.
Yeah, can you hit that button, Jason? All right, we got 6 people on with us, so we are ready to rock and roll if everyone's talking. So,
okay.
All right, well, good evening, everybody. Tonight we have Ed Page and his Raven Racing team, and with him right now is Mike, or Michael. I don't know. What do you go by, Mike? I just call you Mike, but...
Usually, what do people call me? Most people call me Michael. I pretty much answer to anything.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people do call me the lunatic, you know, for obvious reasons, but Mikey has been something. Mickey, you know, it depends, you know, so Miguel.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to offend you.
Miguel, I have no idea why. He's never seen me naked.
Whoa.
I did see your belly earlier.
Oh boy, what happened while I was gone? I get here late and what you guys are showing each other belly buttons. What's good?
Yeah,
That doesn't sound like
You miss all the fun.
Yeah.
I know, apparently.
So, and then Eddie Page, and then Steven Page is all part of the Ed's team as well. And so let's welcome them, everyone. And I don't know, Dad, you want to say anything, or we can just turn it right over to Ed?
No, you're doing good. So what we're going to do is we're going to discuss what Ed and his team are doing with the Raven and what where they're at with the project currently, and go over some of the trials and tribulations of getting a car of this magnitude to the racetrack. Not to mention to the level that it's at. So
We only have an hour, right?
yeah, right. Exactly.
I'd be happy with running and driving.
At this point in time, I agree with you. But so anyhow, you know, everybody all the time is asking me about my cars, and the reason my cars aren't done is because it takes literally years to get a car put together. And with what I do for a living, if I'm putting my car together, guess what? I'm not working on you guys' cars. So I don't have a car anymore. I used to have a car, but I don't have a car anymore. I mean, basically, it's my son's car now. It's not mine. But anyway, but that's what we're going to go over tonight. You know, Ed's...
Wait a second. Wait, don't gloss over that real quick. What car is this?
The 71 Le Mans.
Oh, well, shoot, Jason, that's my car. Let's go racing.
Good. You get to buy the parts and work on it.
Driving, it's raceable.
Yes. So anyhow, that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to just, I'm glad to have the Raven team with us tonight. It's been a little bit since we've had.
For inviting us. Yep, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for
no
showing
problem.
up.
Yeah,
and,
thanks for coming on.
Let's. So what we're going to do is hopefully we get some audience questions here too. But but basically, what we want to know: are you going to be at Norwalk this year?
We will be at Norwalk this year.
When are they not at Norwalk? Even they brought the car last year. I don't think it was running though. Or no, last year you guys did.
We brought both cars. We brought my car and Ed's car.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The first time.
It seems like it was so long ago.
Yeah, I know.
It seems like forever ago. Trust me. But yeah. So before I got sidetracked there, are you going to bring the Raven with you to the Norwalk this year?
We will try like we do every year.
Absolutely good answer.
this one's going to be a little bit tough because we still have some unknown ETA on a few parts.
And good. And that's what we want to discuss tonight.
Well, it's not good, but
Well, no, yeah, it isn't good. But what the point is that we're going to be able to discuss why it's so hard to get to the racetrack. And everybody thinks that it just falls together and the parts are on the shelf at Walmart. All you got to do is go over there and buy them.
It's easy. Everyone should do it.
Yeah, exactly.
With some of the changes too, we're most likely going to need a little bit of fab work done too.
Yeah, so that's another thing too. It turns into a snowball effect. You know, one thing leads to another, and then of course, whenever you tear a vehicle down or tear an engine down, you want to make improvements. Anytime you do go into that engine, you have to keep improving because that's how you keep going faster, and you make it more durable so it doesn't break.
And it's easier to justify when it's already apart.
yes.
Yeah,
You like to take it out. We like to take it apart, not itself take it apart.
yeah, it's all apart. Good. Well, let's go ahead and do whatever we're gonna do. But so yeah, I mean, you know, what kind of parts are you waiting on right now, Ed?
So right now we're waiting on a set of pistons.
Okay.
The bores needed to be cleaned up a little bit, so another set of pistons. And come to find out, the actual design on the current piston that we're using wasn't going to work for what we're doing. Not sure why it took this long to figure out, but it just, I guess it sounds like the last go around. I don't know how the vendor missed it, but it sounded like they were made for a high horsepower NA application, not boosted.
Mm. And
So
yeah,
what we noticed when we took it apart was we actually had, with the little runtime that was on it, we had already cracked two of the pistons.
Wow.
In bore.
yeah. So for our viewers, so they understand that a little bit deeper, a supercharged or a blower or turbo or whatever you want to call it, any kind of anything but a naturally aspirated application, the piston has to be designed with thicker skirts and different ringland locations, different ringland depths, and piston top thickness too. And if you don't get that right with a forced induction or nitrous or any kind of a power enhancer, the pistons can break. And did you guys have any pistons break, or did you find out another way?
So when we disassembled it, we had some. In fact, I can in a minute I can step off and go get one and just show you guys where it actually cracked.
Yeah,
I have one of them.
that would be good if you could. That'd be awesome. So that, and then the thing of it is too, guys, we're talking about a custom built engine. This is not a off the shelf engine. You're not going to go to Summit Racing buy parts for this engine, and because of that, it takes lots of time to get these parts. And the other part of the equation is too is you're relying on outside vendors and sources to get those parts, and their timeline is not your timeline. Ed's timeline is I want them parts in 2 weeks. Their timeline is you get them in 2.5 months if you're lucky. That's how that works.
And the answer when you call, they say 2 more weeks.
Yes, every time.
Right.
So that's where the 2 weeks comes from. And that's why Ed thinks it's 2 weeks. You know what? Every time he calls, he says 2 weeks. Yep. And I get it. So, all right. So you got the pistons on order. That's awesome. Is there anything else you guys are waiting on?
So we're waiting on a camshaft.
Okay. And again,
so-
custom order part.
Yep, custom ordered. As you know, not many vendors have blanks lying around for stock journal cams for a Ram F5.
Right. So that was so you still run a stock cam journal in that engine.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Have you ever thought about upgrading to like a 50 or 55 millimeter?
Not in that block, no.
Okay.
I want all the block material I can get because I think right now we're probably the highest horsepower ever made with a cast iron Pontiac block. And all Pontiac anyways.
Yeah, that's so. Are you going to upgrade to an aluminum block?
We'll see. We'll see. We're waiting to see how your block comes out.
Okay. Well, we got a little time. 2 weeks.
I thought you were going to say 2 weeks.
2 weeks is all it's going to take. And every time you come, it's going to be 2 more weeks. So, all right. Well, cool. I didn't realize you guys had a factory cam journal in that thing. That's pretty impressive. So,
So the only block upgrade this time, aside from the pistons, is going to be the lifters. So we went with the Jessel, what are they, the 930 something lifters?
okay, 937s. Yeah.
Sevens.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. What was you running before?
They were stock size.
Really?
The BAM lifters and the Crower.
Okay. And they were 840.
Yeah, small stuff. And, you know, with what I did notice on the last rebuild, we did restrict the lift oiling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We put 40,000 restrictors in there just because we're running into issues where when the oil got hot at idle at the end of the track, there was zero oil pressure or almost zero.
Okay.
So we restricted that. That seemed to take care of that. But the lifters, the BAM lifters that I had in there didn't like that, and they don't recommend restricting them.
Right.
Most people end up, but maybe 40,000 was a little bit too tight, and maybe the spring pressure that we're running, I think we're running 360 on the seat on those two. So we did increase that on the last build too. And I think what we're going to do this time, where the new cam is going to have a lower lift, more of a friendlier profile.
Okay.
I think we'll be able to go back down to, maybe the 320 on the seat, or maybe less. I need to talk with the cam guy to see what he thinks is okay for that.
Yeah, it's interesting. And, something that I always heard, and we always did, but I guess I assumed, which you should never assume, is that whenever you're running boost, you should increase your intake spring pressure to compensate for the boost. And I was always told that there's an area, the area of the valve, the back surface of the valve, you multiply that, that's got an equation that you can calculate how much more force or pressure is being applied to that valve to push it open. And that's what you're supposed to adjust your valve spring to. Well, and I think I seen this on Facebook just here recently, not too long ago. I don't know if it was Charlie, what the heck's his last name that does the camshafts?
Westgate. Is it Westgate or something like that?
Westcott, I think it is. Yes.
Westcott.
Yeah, him and I think it was Chris Urachko were having a discussion about that, and that is all fallacy. It's not true. So I don't know where.
I think you pointed me to that too. I looked into that, and I think Steve Morris also has some comments on maybe not on that thread, but I think he also has an opinion on that where you don't increase it. In fact, most of the drag and drive stuff that he does is he said it's pretty mild.
Yeah, and and the other part of the equation is too. He's like you. I always ran a lot of spring pressure. Well, we're finding out with our Raymer 5 heads anyway that we've been reducing the spring pressures radically from what we first started with, which was roughly about 280 on the seat, and now we're clear down to 180, 190 on the seat.
That's a big difference.
Huge difference, and that frees up a little horsepower too.
The lifters and rockers must love that.
Yeah, that's another thing. Your durability goes way up. It's not as hard on parts, so and you don't need them big heavy push rods anymore. There's a lot of advantages to that, and Chris Urachko is the one that actually kind of turned me on to that. We just started reducing ours, and so far we have seen no problem with Valvetrain float or anything. So. I don't know in your situation because of the boost. I don't know if it would, if I would go clear down 190 or not. But you might be able to take 100 off of that 360.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
And the springs have held up. These are the original springs that I actually put in when I first put your set of heads on the car.
Wow. And you guys have quite a few passes on those springs, don't you?
Yeah, we've been running them since 2018. Some of those years we had to skip, obviously, the COVID years when no one could get parts. 2018, not a lot of passes.
Drove around the block a couple times though.
Yeah, 2029, we probably had about, I don't know, I think I had data for maybe 30 passes or something like that. There's quite a few.
Yeah.
In 2019, that was a good year.
Yeah, yeah. So you're talking. Let's say you have 100 passes on those springs and they're still good, holding up. That's really good for the lift you're running.
Yeah.
And what is your camshaft, a hydraulic or a solid roller? The one you had in the engine.
So everything's been solid.
Okay.
Solid.
So a little more aggressive ramp on it.
Yep.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, don't ask me about cam spec. You know how that goes.
Here's the card.
Yeah. I know, it's just long. It's got bumps on it and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing about Mike is if you ask him anything about his car, he just grunts. Because you know what? Talk to Ed. I don't know.
I remember the first time we raced my car, we went to go to tech, right? I'm like, Ed, help. And the guy's like asking me, like, like a Catalina trunk full of questions. And he's asking me, he's like, what do you have for a damper? What do you have for a flex plate and stuff like that? So I remember all that now, But it's like, yeah. I don't know, I just paid for it.
That's right. Yeah, he just gets his deer in the headlight look like, huh?
I don't know. That's why I put the firing order in the valve cover so I know what it is.
Yeah,
But I remember the camshaft that he has in his Camaro.
Well, I don't know his Camaro, so that's a good thing. Probably because you've been hanging out with him since he was like 2 years old, maybe. Has he had his Camaro that long?
Just say, I think I was 20 and you were like 90.
Yeah.
Something like that,
yeah. Yeah, a little bit of an age difference, but you guys have been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, that's good. Then, so the next thing is, I guess, is the crankshaft. Is it okay in the engine? Was everything all right with the crank?
Yeah, crankshaft was fine. Let's see, the spare one I have, the 4.5 stroke, that one at some point is going to get shipped out to get fixed. We took it apart prior to this rebuild. We actually had a cracked damper.
Oh.
I think the ATI dampers and the Innovator West dampers, the hubs that come standard aren't thick enough. Mm-hmm. So what they want you to do is upgrade that and then cut it for 2 keyways. So we did that the last go around, but when we went to take that engine apart, that damper did not want to come off. We didn't have to completely cut it off, but it was not fun. It took hours to get off.
Yeah, we've been there, done that.
Did you have that happen just recently?
Yeah, I think you had.
Yes, we did. And
if anyone has an Innovator West damper and they want the part numbers or the contact over there to upgrade the hub, just let me know.
All right, cool deal. That you can order the standard hub with the dual keyway in it, but I didn't realize they offered a thicker hub option.
Yeah, I think it's some sort of Ford hub.
Okay, yeah. So what do you use for a seal? The Ford seal, and you got a machine your cover, or what?
What did they do? This was a couple of years ago. I'll have to look to see if this seal was changed. I don't think it was. I think it's the same seal.
Really? Wonder how they do that.
Yeah, I don't think
Just stretch it out.
I'll have to look.
Stretch it out. Yeah. Okay.
He's not going to sleep tonight. Now you realize this, right? Damn seal.
Yeah. What is that seal? I got to figure it out. Yeah. So that's interesting. And I wanted to touch on the lifter diameter real quick for our audience here. The factory lifter diameter is 0.842, 842 thousandths, which is just over 3/4 of an inch, obviously. And the lifter that Ed went to is a 937, which is just under an inch. So it's considerably bigger in diameter. And the reason you do that, there's a couple of reasons actually, is you can put a bigger wheel on the bottom, what they call the wheel at the bottom of the lifter, which also allows you to put a bigger axle with the wheel rides on inside the lifter there. And so it can take more abuse, and it's a stronger version of like a factory lifter. So, but all right, cool. And then
Actually, Don, there's more surface area in the bore too.
There is, but you know what? It really doesn't. It's not as much help as what you might think because of the. We've got guys that are running 842 lifters with 1,200 pounds of open pressure, and I'm thinking, how in the world they do that? But nowhere on the bores. It's crazy.
Good Valvetrain geometry then.
It's real good Valvetrain geometry, yes, and
Yeah, 'cause
that's critical.
Yeah, that's one thing I can say. We haven't really had any Valvetrain issues at all. We had, let's see, we did hurt one of the lifters, and when we put the engine back together for Norwalk last year, we knew it was hurt. Put a new lifter set in there, but we knew it wasn't going to make it. We tried, when we were putting the engine together, we noticed that the bore was chewed up a little bit.
Mm.
When we took it apart, we're like, oh, we're just going to, address the heads. So you just push the lifters up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should have tried pushing them all the way out because one of them didn't want to come out.
Oh, yeah.
To get it out, and then we took a socket that was pretty close to the bore, wrapped some sandpaper around it, had a vacuum in there, and we tried to hone it as best we could. And we put another set of lifters in, or another pair of lifters in.
Hey, you know what? When you're at the racetrack, all is fair in love and war. So you got to do
All
what
bets
you
are
gotta-
We made it that far, so we're like, if we can make a couple of passes, that would have been fine. Then
Absolutely.
we came back from Norwalk last year and fixed it anyways.
It's amazing to me. Like I'm sure you've watched that Richard. Is his name Guido? I think the last name.
Oh yeah, Chuck Norris of Canada.
Yeah, that guy. He's amazing. I mean, that guy's a machine. He drives his car from Canada to the United States, runs all those drag weeks and whatever, but
He's the real deal.
yeah, and you watch the repairs that he makes in like in Kmart. Well, they don't have Kmart's anymore, but Walmart parking lots. And show my age. But yeah, it's insane what he does, and we complain if we got to replace a head gasket at the racetrack. So.
Damn it, I gotta change my oil. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I got to set my valves and I got to check the timing. Oh, man. I want to sit in my lawn chair. The bad part is you're not allowed to drink while you're racing. Well, you're not allowed.
Well, yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. That's a different kind of buzz. Maybe that's like roadkill at its best.
Right. So, all right.
But what do you do? What do you do though, right? I mean, you got to get it fixed. I mean, other than that, I mean, we do trailing at home or whatnot. I mean, so you got to get it fixed. I mean, you've seen guys that people letting borrow mixed and matched like rocker arms and pieces, and our friend Hooter, I think he broke a Valvetrain component and stuff like that, and he ran 7 cylinders on the way home. The thing's knocking, banging, making all kinds of noise, but he made it home.
Well, I remember when the NMCA thing was first getting started, and the carnage that those guys were having, they weren't expecting. So a lot of them guys would make passes with 7 cylinders. They literally take the spark plug out of it and take the rockers off of that cylinder and run it on 7 cylinders. That's kind of dedication there. That you're there to race no matter what.
Yeah. It's not who's the fastest, really. It's who survives.
That's the key. There you go. Yep, survival rate. So, what kind of questions you got for Ed?
Well, I don't know if our audience really knows. I mean, they know who Ed is because he comments and whatnot, but I don't think they know like what he's running and how he came about with the car and the name and everything. So, I mean, I think we should let him backtrack a little bit and let's hear about your car, Ed.
Hey, I'll have to go way back in time there. We've had this thing for a long time.
He's like,
Got it.
4 years ago, our fathers brought forth to this country the Raven.
Yeah. So, how did the Raven name come about? That's actually a really, really cool name.
So my brother actually came up with that.
Good for
So
Steve.
initially the Ram F5 motor was going in my '69 Camaro,
Okay.
and we took a look at it, and it's like, man, this car is too nice to cut up. It's all factory sheet metal on it. The car's in beautiful shape.
Mhm.
So I found a '69 Firebird rolling chassis, in Long Island. And it's, if you guys go to the Caltrax site, you can actually see the car when it was on their site. I think, man, this was back in, had to be like
19.
Yeah, 15 years ago or something like that. Or maybe, actually, maybe even more now.
Wow.
You know, I saw the car was blue, had a vinyl top on it. The guy was running a big block Chevy, but I guess he got out of racing. And I just happened to say to Murph one day, let's go down and take a look at that. You know, I'm looking for a Firebird to, you know, I had already started building the, you know, Ram 5 motor. And I said, well, what better car to put it in than a 69 Firebird?
Yeah, for sure.
Down there and got the car. We actually had, at the time, no trailer. So we ended up getting one of those U-Haul trailers. Anyone ever use one of those?
Oh,
The,
yeah.
the two wheel, not the four wheeler. You put the whole car on. It's like a piggyback.
Yeah, Dolly. Yeah, I get it.
Scary, but
It's like a fat chick on a roller skate.
yeah, so
And strapped on like one too.
yeah, so we picked that up and brought it back here, and it sat for just a little while until I could find a chassis shop. I went to, you know, at the time I hadn't raced in a long time. The Camaro had been sitting for, I don't know, at least 10 or 15 years, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you have kids and you put the stuff aside.
Yep.
The wife said, hey, you know, if you're gonna build a car, you better do it now. You're getting old. So
What's with your
You
wife
should-
and Michael? I don't get it, man. They
I don't think either one of us. I raced a little bit for a while without you, and then we both stopped. I started playing golf because you can play golf in the rain. You can't race your car in the rain.
Yeah, not easily.
Yeah.
yeah, so you know, went to all the local chassis shops, and you know, some of those guys are tough to talk to. They don't know how serious you are. And I, you know, went by Hall's Custom, talked to Mike Hall down there and one of his guys, and said, hey, at the time, this is what I'm looking to do. You know, at the time it was, you know, not as much horsepower, and it was going to be, you know,
It was gonna be a small tire car, wasn't
yeah, it
it?
was going to be like mini tubbed and, you know, chassis to match. And at the time we're thinking, you know, probably, you know, 750 cert would be plenty. I'd never go faster than that. Mike came up with one of his guys, looked at the car and said, yep, we'll do it. And he brought the car down to him. Actually, I think I have some pictures of me, my son Eddie, when he was young. I think we put it in the trailer. I think it was in November, really cold. And it was the first time I had ever, so I bought a trailer, right? Because I didn't have a trailer. So it's like, okay, so I'm going to be racing soon, right?
Soon.
Soon. So I have this rolling chassis. I don't have an engine yet. So it's like, let me get this. And so I looked for a used trailer and I got a, you know, decent deal on a really nice trailer. And I still have it today. First day I'm ever towing anything. And we have 55-mile-an-hour winds, you know, going down Route 93, all the way down from New Hampshire to south of Boston. So the truck's going down the road like this. Me and my wife are in there, so I guess. Okay. We dropped the car off down there, and then my brother and I went down there on a couple of weekends to actually gut the car. So we have pictures, you know, cutting the car apart, and you look at it and you start taking it apart, and you're like, oh my God, this car was in almost as nice a shape as the Camaro. It's like cutting this apart.
You'd have been better off buying something that was rotted.
Yeah, yeah, because the floorboard all been gone already. Oh, we lost him.
You know, obviously the whole nose gets, well, most of the nose is still on it now, except for one fender got replaced. Just, you know, it was too bad to fix on the bottom, it was too rotted out. But yeah, so we worked on that, you know, on weekends, and then you know how projects like this, they take years and years, and over time things change. So as soon as we took it apart, it's like, yeah, it's going to be big tire. We want to make a lot of power. And then we said, yeah, let's set up for a 6.0 cert and then just have at it. And then just waited for engines to come together. And that turned into a fiasco, the first one.
Yeah.
It just took years to, you know, the car had a lot of work done to it. And it takes a while to build a project like that. It's time and money. And a lot of times you don't have both at the same time. So it's like, Mike Hall would have some time, I'd have some money.
And life gets in the way, so I get it.
Yeah, we used to go like on Saturdays and Sundays. We take turns and stuff like that. Steve would go on one day. I'd go. He goes Saturday and Sunday. Steve would go on Saturday. I'd go on Sunday, and we'd work on the car and stuff. And the guy is amazing. And he showed you how to, put stuff together and like at that level and stuff. And it's like there was like zero tolerance for error. And if he didn't like how you did something and stuff like that, hey, listen, you can't do this. This car is going to be fast and stuff. And of course, we did. I did all like the stupid stuff, like grinding and stuff like that takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like all stupid stuff. And him and Ed did all like the high tech stuff. But it was a learning experience. And it's like, wow, that's how you build like a race car. And it's like, even like the small stuff people don't understand. It's like when you're putting the bolts together, it's like, everything has to be either what the hell is it? A nylock or some sort of other locking device, because this thing will rattle itself to death and it'll come apart. And that's when bad things happen. So it was a great experience for us to work on the car and stuff. And he had other guys coming down there working on their stuff and that. So we learned even a lot from them. And people who helped us out and showed us how to do stuff and put stuff. I mean, we know how to work with tools, but it's a different level, when you're working on something like that.
Well, that was awesome. You guys got to build a car and be involved with it like that, because a lot of shops won't let you do that.
No, Mike Hall, he's a good friend. Him, his wife, his kids, they come up here. We don't get down to the shop as much. We're trying to get him to move his shop up this way. It would be more convenient for us.
But no, when Ed hosts events, his family comes up and they spend like the whole day with us and stuff like that. We barbecue and stuff like that. Ed lives in a resort here. We have a hot tub, a pool,
I've seen pictures.
Grill.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys
people don't want to leave when they come here.
We now have amusement rides too. They're working on a water slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like Disney World.
I'm trying to get him a bouncy house, but he won't do it.
That's probably a good thing. If you guys drink too much, that would be bad.
Yeah.
But well, that's good. So that's cool. The Raven name came from what? Ramir 5? Is that, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. He sent a note over one day. He goes, what are you gonna name the car? He goes, how about Raven? Raven. And
did you already know the car was going to be black at that time?
Yeah, it was going to be black. Mike Hall said he will not paint the car any other color. He said it must be black.
Cool.
In fact, he said he wouldn't do the car unless it was going to be black.
Why is he like black race cars, or he just had black paint left over?
I think he does.
He does like black, but he just the quality of work that he does. You paint a car like this black, a race car black, and have it look like this does, the work is done right.
Right. Oh, that car's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how many of our viewers have seen this car, but this thing is absolutely gorgeous. And
every time we roll this car out, sorry to interrupt you, but every time we roll this car out, it's like, even on like our home track and stuff like that, it's like, wow, we have the best looking car here every time.
It literally looks like a show car, not a race car. So.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like we go bounce back and forth and stuff like that. He's like, I mean, because the car is heavy. Was it like 3660 or something like that, or something like that?
3660 right now. It's gonna get a little fatter with the new transmission.
A bummer. I thought we were lightening this thing up. That was my next question. When are you going to lighten this up?
But you know what the thing is? So we go back, Don. This is a sore subject. We actually go back all the time, and I'm like, Ed, it's like, where are we going with this? I mean, we don't have the time and really the funds to race with the street outlaw guys who run like super fast. Like, I mean, those guys are insane.
Yep.
Like the time and stuff like that. I go, let's get to him. We want to run the car 200 miles an hour. We want to run the car in the sixes. Let's do that, and we can race top sportsmen here. Yep. We want to run more events in it, and so the car's not a shit box. It's a beautiful car. And every time we roll this thing out, people come over and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is a race car. And it's like, yeah, it's like, it's scary to work on. And everyone says, how come you guys work on and every time you see you in the shop, you have like t-shirts and bathing suits. And I'm like, yeah, because bathing suits don't have snaps or buckles. So if you, God forbid, you lean on a fender or you touch something, you're not going to scratch it, And so, But it's like, it's like okay, so we put a fiberglass nose on it. Yeah, but the car will, I mean, the guy who does the body work and stuff like Mike Hall will do a great job looking at it. But I mean, the car already looks extremely gorgeous.
Yes.
It's like, how do you want to, and it's like, so we bounce back and forth. I mean, it's his car, he can do what he wants and stuff like that. But it's like, dude, leave it alone. It's gorgeous.
I do have to say the factory front subframe has to go.
Yeah.
It has to go.
Yeah, you'll lose about 150 pounds there, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And maybe.
Yeah.
Easy to put the headers on, that's for sure.
That would be a big plus, an absolute plus for sure. And then
To
does
do the
it
headers
have
on
the
this
factory
car.
firewall in it still, or has it got a sheet metal firewall now?
So factory.
Oh,
Factory,
wow. Yeah, that's heavy too. So, and then you, how much of the
Fac-
glass is factory?
How much of what?
Of the glass is factory.
Let's see. So the front glass is factory. The side and the rear are Lexan.
Okay, so yeah, still got a factory glass windshield, so that's heavy too. There's room for, you could probably get about another 250 pounds out of that car easy.
Yeah, the windows still roll down too.
That's
just
what's
like-
cool.
Aren't they powered?
yeah, my power.
Oh, I thought
I should remember to hit the button though to roll it down though. Sometimes I'm trying to go. It's like, oh my god, I hate closing the doors in that car because it's like I gotta hold it and it's like you gotta talk nice and finesse it and then you gotta latch it and stuff. I mean, it's utter chaos. It's total anarchy.
Brandon, any questions coming in on the chat?
Believe it or not, no.
No.
Yeah.
That's-
Is everybody's kind of just talking with
I
each
think
other?
everyone's just enjoying Ed's company because usually,
Mike too.
Yeah, and Mike's too. Yes, but Ed usually answers everyone's questions on the chat.
Oh.
so
He's
Yeah,
not
no,
in the chat.
We follow you all the time and stuff like that, and it's a good group and stuff. And it's like most of the people who are in the chat follow us on Raven Racing.
Yep.
Too. So it's like the same thing. It's like, how you guys doing? Yeah, you doing good? How's the weather and stuff like that? Kids good and stuff like that. Hey, did your haircut and stuff like that? Did you shower today? I mean, we could go.
Yeah, it's a friendly conversation instead of a race conversation, but that's okay. That how many viewers we got tonight? I think our viewership's low today because I didn't get a chance to post it.
But I got 35.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's real good. All right, cool. So yeah, I'm amazed that we don't have Phil busting our chops.
We've had two people already say they're just enjoying the conversation.
Good deal.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's fun to talk about this stuff, and so what'll happen is me and Ed, we have a few martinis, and then we're sitting there talking until 3:00 in the morning, and my wife's looking at me like, "Really?"
I hear about this conversation. Oh, I got on the phone with Don, and I go, yeah.
It's like dawn, 2 a.m.
Yeah, we got to go to bed. Okay, an hour later, we're ready to go to bed. Well, I don't know what Ed drinks. He always says he's got to go get a drink. I know what I'm drinking. I'm drinking Jameson on the rocks, but I don't know what Ed drinks.
Well, it depends on what time it is.
Oh, so you switch up.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Usually that late at night, maybe a tequila.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. Usually what I do is we get our tequila before, and then about 8:00, and then whenever you and I get on the phone, then I'm starting to drink whiskey. So
Whiskey too, yeah, bourbon actually.
and
Usually
bourbon,
maybe,
yeah. Yep.
yeah.
So, well, that's cool. Yeah. So it sucks that we have to wait on parts for so long for everything, and it's hard to, it's really hard to predetermine what you need too, because the longer you race, the more you spare parts you accumulate, because you say, oh shit, I broke a set of lifters this time, so I better order an extra 2 sets of those, or I broke a valve spring. You just don't know until you start breaking parts and figure out what's going to break and what isn't going to break. And then usually whatever you have on the shelf don't break.
Or what happens is you buy all these spare parts and then you have to do like machine work, and now the pistons don't fit. So the 2 or 4 extra pistons you bought don't fit.
Right. So yeah, you
Or
bought them
they're,
spare
or
parts.
they're not made for a boosted engine.
There you go. Well, you know what? Steve's got a hand-me-down engine. You just hand him down to Steve. And I'm sure he'll
Hopefully-
appreciate that.
Or ask him. We'll get him out this year.
Yeah, it would be really, really cool if Steve would bring his car maybe to Norwalk this year, because he's usually just a support guy. Of course, last year he didn't get to come. I think he had to work, but Maybe we can get him out there this year.
We'll harass him. Everyone ping him on Facebook.
There you
Tell him
go.
to bring his. Tell him if the Ravens not going, his car has to go.
There you go. Yep, that's what we need to do. Because Michael will definitely have a lunatic there, I'm sure.
Yeah, his car needs very little maintenance. The only thing we have to do is we're going to just check a couple of the head studs that go through the intake ports. I think are leaking a little bit. A little bit of oil, they're sucking it in. So we're getting a little puffing going down the track.
Right.
Here's one of the pistons.
Oh.
You can get it close enough to the. Yeah, so. Yeah. You see that crack?
I don't see it in this picture.
I do.
Where at? Is it on the wrist pin area or where's it at?
Oh,
Okay,
okay,
yeah.
I see it.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yep.
So,
We have a bunch of pistons like that.
yeah. So that's that shows you kind of stress that that part's under, and you guys aren't even running that much boost yet. What do you run? What the most you run is like 30 psi maybe?
Yeah, most was 30.
Yeah. So considering that some of these guys are running 60 and 70 now, that's like really you're not even gonna turn the wick up yet. So, but yeah, and the pistons.
Take it down at 30. We're gonna turn it up. We have a tune for 40.
Awesome,
okay.
awesome, cool.
Yeah.
And then so the cylinder heads, are you doing anything to those right now to get them ready, or are they pretty much just going to clean them up and put them back together? Or I know the one chamber we had to fix because of the meltdown you had.
Yeah, so that's getting fixed. So they were putting seats in that one.
Okay.
And, talking to the machine shop, he's like, well, I can guarantee these won't fall out, but I can't guarantee that the other ones won't. So I said, do them all.
Right.
So
what's he
they
doing
did
with
all-
them to help keep them in there?
I'll ask him what procedure he used, but when in talking with him, I think he was going to go with like, what was it, an 8,000 clear, 8,000
Press fit.
press fit, heats the heads up to, I think it was like 250 degrees or something like that. And then the seats go into liquid nitrogen.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Okay.
kind of put them in, give them a little tap. And so that's what he was doing. He said they shouldn't fall out. And one of the other reasons I had him do all two is I said, check the material, because that set of heads there, you remember we had, I had some porting done to them and some ears were thin and we we're getting cracking between the intake and the exhaust.
Right.
So we had John Marcella weld all those up. So I said, while they're out, check them, make sure that the material is solid. So they
Right.
did some, metal hardness testing on that, and everything looks good. So it's like, all right, put the seats in them. We're going to run it.
I said use Flex Seal. That would work.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? The JB Weld is awesome stuff. And, I heard it holds up to like 4,000 degrees. I don't know.
We have Pro Epoxy up here. That stuff's awesome.
Don, if it does, I'm going to make valves out of it.
Perfect.
We do have
One of the other
question
things that,
from Eric.
for motor, sorry.
Oh no, you're
What were
fine.
you guys saying?
Go ahead, Jason.
Well,
We
Oh,
have one question from
We
Eric.
also increased the size of the exhaust valve slightly.
Oh, okay. Good deal. Yeah. And you
Just
guys,
I guess, usually ratios between the intake and the exhaust with the boosted, with the, the pressure on the intake side, we probably never should have increased the size of the intake valve. We should have just increased the size of the exhaust valve. So that's another, you learn as you go.
Mhm. And there was something I was just going to say about that, and I forget what it is. Oh, you guys are going to build another set of headers too, aren't you?
We're gonna try. If depending on when the engine gets, or actually when I get the heads back, the plan would be assemble the heads, get the car down to Mike Hall, and have him start building the headers before I get the short block back. Is the plan.
Okay.
And it comes
2 weeks.
to, so it has to go down there anyways,
2
because
weeks.
to get the transmission in the car, the new one is gonna take some modifications too.
Yeah.
The
So-
transmission, from the front of the transmission to the mount is an inch different. but Rosler modified the back of the transmission so it's only a 1/4 inch longer overall. But it's a little bigger further back. So, the transmission tunnel, the belly pan will need to get modified. Drive shaft, we have to check. I think it's going to need another drive shaft. That's
So there's
1/4 inches.
that's that snowball effect.
We
that
might build another car. We're talking about building another car and stuff like that with extra parts. What do you think?
Well, you know what? You feel like it when you make one change. All it takes is one change, and that one change leads to 10 more changes all the way down the line. Yep. And I try to explain.
I want to change my oil filler. Next thing you know, you're buying a new car.
Yeah, you know what? You might as well just take the radiator cap off, put it on another car, and you're done. Because that's what you're doing. You're building another one. So
Yeah, and then with the lockup transmission, there are a couple more sensors that go on there. Now you need to have a shift position sensor so you can tell the lockup what to do in each gear.
all right.
So that has to get modified to, actually the config on the ECU, that's fairly straightforward. Getting it all to work, a little more complicated.
You have to call NASA for that?
Not yet. I wouldn't call them.
We'll call Elon. He did save the astronauts. So
Yeah, so we get a speed sensor on the input shaft now too. So we can, determine how much pressure we can, or have to put into the converter to lock it up. So we have to figure out how to tune that.
So you're getting pretty high tech there.
Initially, I think the goal is, yeah, and
He's wicked smart.
we're moving the catch can to where it's supposed to be because I can't put it in the right spot where it is now. Where for the transmission, I had it. If you look at the top of the transmission is here. We had something coming out and going slightly up, and when you're putting in a catch can for your transmission that you want to recycle automatically and not have to worry about draining it, you want to make sure that line is on a slightly downward angle. And then the bottom can go right back to the pan.
Right.
So we're doing that too. If it's sitting over in the back on a cart, maybe I can move some stuff and wheel it over.
It's very sexy.
It is pretty.
I see you got it.
I'm going to put Brock. Yeah,
Well, you have her skirt in the air.
I think I missed.
Yeah, we're breaking up pretty bad. Is there something going on there?
It's his, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah, we're out in the garage, so the Wi-Fi access point here needs to be replaced.
Well, you know what? Not to change the subject, but the Spectrum had to come out after that storm we just had here, and they said that divider or splitter or whatever the hell you call that thing in the back room was causing all our problems with our transmission out there. He fixed all that.
Oh, see?
So now our data's good.
Good.
Yeah. So anyhow, I think Jason's got a couple questions somebody's asking.
Eric Chambers wanted to know what turbos are you using?
So we have some Turbonetics 2088s in there right now. And we have a set of 91 Pro Mods in boxes upstairs that are used. They were on Rodney Butler's car.
That's going to be a huge increase.
Based on general numbers from time slips only.
He's mad I'm gassing him out.
Yeah. The other turbos, based on the numbers that we have now, obviously we've only run up to 30 pounds of boost. Rodney was running more boost. We should be able to at least make another, I think it's at least another 300 rear wheel horsepower with the bigger. And that's just, that's just quick math. Hey, I have a time slip, you have a time slip. Here are the difference in weights and calculating it that way.
Awesome. Yeah, that's I'm really excited to see how this thing that transmission is going to be a huge improvement for your mile an hour.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, at this weight and the power that we're making and stuff like that, it's like you look at the top 10 fastest cars in the country, like Pontiac and stuff like that, and we're in the top 10. But like at our weight, I think we're in the top 5.
Probably in the top 5 for horsepower.
Oh,
yeah, for horsepower.
I agree. And you guys,
I mean, this makes horsepower by accident.
You guys haven't even had an opportunity to really dig into the horsepower on that thing. It's just kind of, we threw this thing together and we just want to get it in the car and get it to the track kind of a thing. It hasn't been.
Right, exactly,
And-
John. I mean, the first, sorry to interrupt you, but I remember like our first year that the chassis builder, Mike Hall, was like, we're trying to get used to the car and stuff like that. And then plus like to work at a team, we've never done this.
Right.
And find out and make sure, I mean, obviously you want to be safe more than important than anything. Contrary to belief, everyone thinks we're nuts and lunatics and stuff like
you
that,
are,
but we take
but
racing
that's another
seriously.
story.
We want everyone to be safe.
Right.
But no, I don't want to hurt nobody and stuff like that. I want everyone to be safe. I take that very serious. I mean, I work the party like everybody else, but this is serious shit, and I definitely don't, I love this guy. I don't want to get hurt,
Yes.
So, and I remember like the first couple times going to the track. And I mean, we're posting like 11-second ETs. He was just 60 foot in the car and the car would run like 11-0, and it's like people starting to hammer on. It's like, dude, you don't just get into like a 2000 horsepower at the time, maybe 1500 horsepower car and just let it rip tater chip, no, this is serious. Plus,
Right.
and I remember we having a conversation with staging lanes. And so he has a 69 Camaro, which is Ram Air 4 Pontiac powered with a stick shift, and he could wheel that thing like nobody's business. And I said to him, I go, dude, you gotta kick this thing in the can and stuff like that. He was like, I don't trust this car. He was like, I don't trust it's not like my Camaro. And I told him I would drive like a Camaro. He's like, I don't trust. In the first year, then all of a sudden it's like then all of a sudden it's like, then we're going 10-0, and then all of a sudden 9-0, and then next and this is like half track passes, right? And then all of a sudden 8-0, and it's like then everyone's like, what? Wait, hey, what? Shock,
Year one, we made it into the seventh.
First year, not knowing. I mean, not knowing anything, making it into the sevens. It's like, hey, how's that grab you?
Which is a
And it's like now
serious
everyone's looking and stuff,
too.
and I mean, you still don't know. And then people and so Ed has this like philosophy. He calls everything it's in the pond, and it's brilliant, right? Tell him what the pond is, Ed.
You're telling me.
Okay,
You're better.
so Ed's like everything's like so when you're trying to work on something, especially like a car like this, right? Everything's like in a pond. What happens is so like my car is like a lake, right? I mean, Don, can you make like 700 horsepower stuff like that? I go, yeah. When do you want it? 2 weeks.
All right.
Okay, so so that's easy meat and potatoes. That's not a big deal. But this, and you talk to a couple people and stuff like that. I don't want to use any names, but some people have like they lie to you. They don't want you. They spent all the money. They spent all the time and stuff like that. We don't hide anything, and if like something bad happens and stuff like that, this is what happened.
Yep.
Do we know what happened? Is it something that we did? I don't know. What I mean? So we're not afraid to say it's on us or whatever, right? But it's like, you're not, no one's building, when you go to like over like, I don't know, like 1500 horsepower, that's a whole different level.
Yes, it is.
The guys don't want you to know. John Gadosh is a friend of ours and stuff like that, and he helps us out with a lot of stuff. And I can call him right now, answer the phone. Hey, what's going on? But it's like he's like you don't just like this is not like you just like you said, it's not Summit stuff. You can't go to Summit and see the guy that looks like me standing. Is that guy still there, by the way, with the hat that looks like me?
They moved him. He's not up by the retail store anymore, or the cashiers anymore. He's in the back now. So I don't get to see every day when I go.
But it's like everyone so Ed's like they call it a pond. So what happens is in that pond, when you start going faster and faster, that pond gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And people would say how to do it and stuff like that. Well, they don't want you to know how to do it.
No, they don't. They don't want the competition.
Well,
No.
part of it too is, when you first start racing, you typically hang around with people that, are running similar, maybe a little bit faster than you.
Yeah, excuse me.
And, let the dog in. And, over time, the group of people that, you're hanging around with don't know enough to help you.
Right.
Like you basically, you outgrew that pond, and you have to put your feelers out to say, all right, who are the guys that are doing this? So I don't have to, learn it all myself, and that's why we talk to you all the time, Don.
Well, the thing of it is, it's everybody needs
You have tons of
a mentor. They need somebody that has experienced it, so you don't have to experience it. And unfortunately for you, I mean, I'll help you with whatever I can, but I don't know the turbo scene that well. I'm learning with you because of you're making my brain stretch because I got to research all this stuff. But yeah, it's you're right. It's hard to find people at this level that can actually help you, that want to help you.
Right. And the other piece too is no one has done it with, a Ram F5 Pontiac engine.
Correct. Yeah. And, and so not
Actually, the other key point on C16, remember, we're not running alcohol yet.
Yeah, that's the other key factor. So the guy, for our audience that's watching, Ed's he's the lunatic, not Michael. He's wanting to run gasoline, not methanol, like all the other top 5 that he was just talking about. Those guys all run methanol, and I tell you right now, that makes your life a lot easier. And
Yep.
and apparently Ed just has money to burn because he's bent on making that thing run on gasoline.
Well, even people say to us, like, we went to the track Sunday to visit some friends and stuff like that, and and they're like, oh, put a big block Chevrolet in it and stuff like that. Well, that's all good, but it doesn't matter whose name's on the valve cover. It's still X amount of horsepower, and you still got to figure it out. The motor doesn't know whose it is. Like, it's all the whole to make everything can be happy and jive.
That's right. It's just an air pump, and it doesn't know if it's a Pontiac, Chevy, or a Ford.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's it's. I mean, thank God. I mean, we have a lot of people help us and stuff like that because you can't do it on your own and stuff. And thank God, Ed and I, we both married well. I mean, not to each other, but although it sometimes seems that way. But it's like our wives support us. Like, Tammy and my wife Carrie, they are you guys racing this? They just want to be known. Hey, listen, are you guys racing this weekend before we plan like a trip? Or what you guys got going on, stuff like because they support us and stuff like that. And they're friends too. There's things that they do without.
And that's a good thing. So yeah, you guys have a good support team. You guys actually have a real good team. I mean, the wives, all your family members and friends. So
Yep.
That's what it takes. It takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a crew to race a race car.
Right. Yeah. Without those guys, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, it's impossible. Too much to do. There's no way you can do it.
Even the level that I race in, it's like I could never do this without him. You know what I mean? It's like and plus it's like a lot of fun too. It's like you go with your best friend and stuff, and he has my back, and if there's a problem or anything like that, and he drives the car sometimes too. It's like there's times when his car's down and stuff like that. Ed, you want to drive the car because I like to race. I don't like to test. That's my problem. I don't like to test. And I should test more. And we try every year to do, we call it Fan Appreciation Day. We'll bring some cars to the track, and we'll invite a bunch of people, and we'll bring like a cooler with water, soda, ginger ale and whatnot, and sandwiches and snacks and cake. And we invite a whole bunch of people out. They'll come and hang out the trailer. We'll feed them and stuff like that. I'll make like 1 or 2 passes in my car, and I'll throw him or his son in the car or something like that. Just like, hey, make a hit and stuff like that, because I'm bored, because it's not a race. So if I can't race, I don't want, what I mean? I'm bored, so we'll do that and stuff like that, and it's fun, So, so actually, I think one year it's like he had, I think, about almost as many passes in my car as I did.
Well, they do that with pro stock teams too. Them guys all have guys that test the car and do all the figuring chassis out and that kind of thing. The driver that actually races on Sunday, he don't do it. But yeah. Well,
Every time he drives my car, though, he always bounces it off the rev limiter. I don't know why he does that, though.
We should higher, right? What's it at now? 7,000?
Yeah, I've been shifting my car like 6,500 lately, but I think you shift the thing at like 72.
well, he's used to the Raven. Think about it. The Raven's going through the traps at 9,000 RPM.
Yeah. We haven't hit much over 8,500 on that motor.
Yet.
And that was with the big crank in there.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine the piston speed? No wonder you cracked a piston. That thing had to be just, man, it's trying to yank the wrist pin right out of the piston.
His car sounds like his car's quieter than mine. If we run both of them next together, you can't hear his car over mine.
Right. Well, the turbos muffle it quite a bit.
It's way quiet. But let me tell you, I remember we were racing at New England, our local track, and I was in the stands, and next thing you know, he goes to make a hit, and doesn't call me, doesn't tell me that we're dilly dallying, right? All of a sudden, I'm like, it makes it's a total different sound. It doesn't sound like anything else. And I'm like, that's a Raven firing up. And I'm like, next thing you know, I'm like hustling down, running over there. I'm like, like, are you? So,
Yep.
but yeah, no, it's all good stuff though. You know, we'll get it figured out and stuff.
Well, you guys got a good plan, and unfortunately, we all have to wait on parts. And I'm glad that you guys are sharing this information tonight, because I think sometimes my customers think that I make this up, that I tell them that we got to wait on stuff. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but it sure seems like it to me, because they call me every freaking 2 weeks and ask me how we're doing. And unfortunately, a lot of stuff's out of my control. I can't make the vendor make the part any faster than what they're going to do it.
Don, you know what, Don? You're right, 100%. It's not like, so I mean, don't let this out. I mean, it's on the internet now anyways, but I'm a plumbing contractor, and it's the same thing with my business, you know? They can't, we can't get stuff and whatnot. Sometimes what I'll do is, if you want to get excited.
Hey, the Murph dog's there, and so's Eddie. Hey guys, how you doing, man?
Good to see you, Don.
Good to see you guys.
Just wanted to say hello, that's all.
Oh, good. Well, we wanted you to be part of the podcast tonight. So you're in the house goofing off, eating and drinking beer and having fun while we're out here working. I don't know if they froze up or we froze up.
Someone's gonna do it.
So, yeah, you're right. Somebody's got to do it.
Actually,
Yeah.
Dad, your shirt's good.
Yeah, so I mean, we run into the same thing, in my job too. And it's the same thing. You can't get parts or whatnot, and sometimes people get huffy and puffy and say, "Okay, you think you're so smart, you get the part."
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Well, you know what? Sometimes you got to fire customers, unfortunately, and I've had to do that too. And I don't like doing that, but if they're too impatient, you're gonna have to go somewhere else, because I can only go as fast as I can get parts. So.
I got to tell you, people, if you do a good job, people will stay loyal. I worked for a company for 25 years and had enough and stuff, and I unofficially retired for like 2 days. And a buddy of mine, so I revolve everything about cars. And a buddy of mine seen me at the plumbing supply house, and he's like, "What? No, Mike, no work today?" I go, "No work, never." He's like, "Well, come work." My dad, he's the car guy. His dad's car guy, cars and stuff. But it's like the same thing where it's, you're still dealing with parts and years. You talk about loyalty. I've taken 55 customers away from my other company and I didn't solicit them. They just saw me here and there because I'm, believe it or not, I'm prolific. And they want to be where I am.
Right.
Camera go off.
Yeah, so you're absolutely correct. I mean, that's the and my
So it's like, yeah,
my customer base is loyal. There is no doubt about it. They don't fire me. I fire them. Well, I shouldn't say I fire them. I fire some because of if they're too not understanding, then all it does is make my life miserable, and it ain't worth it to me. So I just we move on and agree to be friends and agree to disagree.
we're all human beings.
Yes. So this thing is really, really screwing up. Is it? You think it's their end or our end?
It says right there.
Where? Ah, okay. So yeah, they must have a weak connection there right now.
Yep. They're getting rain too. So
Oh, okay. So
we might have lost them.
is there any other questions on there from when they come back?
There was one. How many gears are on the new trans? And then Philip asked about, are they going to be ready for Norwalk? But they already answered that.
Right. So. Well,
hopefully we get them back. They're still in here, but
I say, are they still hanging out?
oh nope, we lost them.
Ah, bummer. What time is it anyway?
It's past. It's 7:10.
All right. Well, you know what, guys? It's unfortunately, I think we lost our Raven crew and our Raven team. they're having technical difficulties with their Zoom. I think they have a storm in their area, and I don't know if you guys have heard the rain off the steel roof here in my son's shop.
Oh,
but-
hey,
Oh,
we
there we are.
back? Yeah, we're back. We're back. Okay, good.
hey, we're back.
They're back.
I don't know what
We
happened.
had a snafu.
You missed. So what we're going to show you was the mock-up of the camshaft.
Okay.
This is just part of it.
Very flexible.
Yeah. I've never seen a camshaft
It is,
with
it is.
constant
Very
velocity joints before. That's awesome. That is cool. Here, I thought for sure we were going to get to look up underneath that Raven skirt, but he faked me out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, how's Luke doing?
He's doing good. He graduates, I think, the 25th of this month from high school, and so he's doing really, really well.
Awesome.
Yep.
Oh,
He's looking forward to Norwalk, I can tell you that.
Brendan's friends.
Maybe I'll make him a new hat.
There you go.
Is he? Hey, do you ever get his car fixed? I know he had leaf spring problems. Do you ever get that fixed?
Yeah, he put new leaf springs in the car and got some traction bars on it, so it won't do that again. And you'll have to talk to him about this and ask him. But he welded subframe connectors in his car, and
Oh, good.
well, not really, because Uncle Don wasn't there to supervise, and he did it on the
So it's like
lift.
bubblegum?
He did it on the lift, and now the door doesn't close on the passenger side. So, but
If you close a wicked eye, it'll close.
that's exactly right. And then you got to hold it shut with a rope. But other than that, it's good.
Yeah.
I think it'll pass tech. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's doing real well.
Tell him just run the seatbelt through the door and pull it back in, clip it in. He'll be all right.
Yeah, you know
Hold the
what?
door shut.
I see tow truck drivers do that all the time on the steering wheel, keep the wheel straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, you know what? I don't think we have any other questions, so we're a little.
I don't think we had any. Actually, we had one question.
Yeah, we had one question about turbos. That was it. So
Yep.
apparently these guys are just more entertained by
Us.
your smiling
Yeah.
faces. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, hey guys, feel free to reach out to us on Facebook.
Yeah, please do. So Ed Page and Steve Page have a what's it called? The Raven Facebook.
Raven
page.
Racing.
Raven Racing.
Yep.
So
Yep.
make sure and go and join their page and support their team, and that'll get you updates too on what's going on with the car. Because Ed posts on there, and Steve posts, and Mike. I don't know if Michael posts so much, but I think Eddie does.
I don't. I usually post food and stuff like that. If anything.
Mike's afraid of Facebook.
Hey Don, you're supposed to tell your audience to don't forget to smash the like button.
Oh yeah, don't forget smash. I'm terrible about that. You know what? Smash the like button, because that's
Yeah.
a great idea. And subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. But I think that most of our guys have. So, but yeah, smashing that like button helps our algorithm. So, all right, guys.
Yep.
Well, hey, thank you guys for coming tonight. That was awesome. And maybe once you get some more.
Good
people
talking with you guys, and Don, we'll talk soon.
Always a pleasure.
For sure, for sure. All right. Have a good night,
there's
everybody.
Eddie.
Oh, hey, your buddy's back. Awesome.
Doug. That's Doug.
That's Doug.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, good
Bye,
night,
guys.
See you guys.
Bye.